Hello, and here we are for the Vegan Business Tribe session, looking at crowdfunding and supporting some of the small grassroots vegan independent businesses that are just sort of coming out of lockdown now. Hopefully, the end of this COVID year, we hope, starting to get back to some kind of semblance of, at least in the business world, some progress and growth again. I'm very happy to be joined by David from Vegan Business Tribe, who has been a huge part putting together this initiative. Very basically an initiative that has 18 vegan businesses currently crowdfunding. That's going to be running throughout March 2021. And David is joining me now from Yorkshire, I believe, in the studio. David, nice to see you.
Lovely to see you again, Tim. We seem to keep meeting like this, don't we, Tim?
Indeed, yes. We've had a few, and I've got to know the imperative question: how's the boxes?
The boxes are gone, as you can see. So if people are scratching their head over that, yes, we have just moved house, but we made the huge sin of not actually booking any time off to move house. So we were moving in between stewarding our networking events and our clinics and all things like that. But yes, we've just about got there. We've got a few left in the spare room, but we're pretty much settled now. Thank you, Tim.
Well, I moved in 3.5 years ago. I've still got a load of boxes unpacked. So you've beaten me to it. Well done. So it's looking great. And it's been a really interesting month, actually, because this month, you've joined us a number of times since we've done 5 online shows now during, the last 12 months or so. And this is the 5th one, and it's an exciting one because we've got 18 vegan businesses that are all currently crowdfunding, including our good selves. So we've got Force of Vegan, Plant Pad Planet, Onion magazines. We're crowdfunding. If you want to go over to the crowdfunder page, I'm sure you'll find it liberally splashed around our social media. If not, you can find it on Vegan Business Tribe and on vegfest.co.uk. But David, we actually have, I think, 18 crowdfunder businesses, and in about 5 minutes or so, we're going to have a look very quickly at all of them. First of all, I'd ask you, if you're listening, do share this, please. Do share. I think you'll find they're tagged in. These businesses would all love a visit to their page, a little look, maybe a share or two. But there's some great initiatives. Before we go into that, though, just talk through. I'd be really interested to know, you're an expert in these areas. You've learned a lot. Just tell us a few of the advantages beyond the obvious one. I mean, obviously, a crowdfunder is about funding, about money, and there's usually a target to achieve. But beyond the crowdfunding, actually, in the money department, what else do we see? What are these amazing benefits that some of these businesses would be able to experience from?
Yeah, it's a really interesting topic, Tim, because I think we've covered the topic of funding vegan businesses quite a lot at Vegan Business Tribe. We've even done a funding panel with yourself as part of previous VegFest events. So it's the question that keeps coming up. And crowdfunding, there is that expectation that you just put up a crowdfunding page and miraculously all these people, they appear out of nowhere to back your projects. But the majority of projects, they don't hit their goals because you do need to build that audience first. And there's quite a simple formula to this, that 1 in 20 people who visit a crowdfunding page will make a donation. And the average donation is about £50. So if you're looking to raise, even just £3,000, you need to get about, 1,200 people to your page. So there's a lot of publicity needed to actually make crowdfunders successful. And actually, a lot of the time, it's that publicity which is the key thing. Because I've interviewed companies, who have done crowdfunders, and, some have done it very successfully. But you get other people like Mummy Meegs, for instance. Now, Mummy Meegs launched with a crowdfunding, but they didn't get anywhere near their target they wanted to get. But they say that the exposure they got was worth actually far more than getting that money. And we've been sharing this campaign and these, 18 companies you have as well, through all your channels and all our channels. And I've had some, great emails back from some people in quite high up places saying that they haven't been able to, they haven't given any money, they've not donated, but they've just emailed one of the companies to set up a chat because they want to get involved, or they think they can actually help the company scale up and grow. So that exposure is just huge. It really pushes people out of their contact zones, because if you're trying to get these thousands and thousands of people to your landing page on crowdfunding or something like that, you have to move out of your comfort zone. You have to go, call the local TV channel. You have to be emailing the local newspaper. And every time you do that, that's some promotion for your business that you probably wouldn't have done before.
Yeah, so the exposure is key issue. I do agree with that. And I think there is a reluctance. One of the things I've noticed, and it is true, there's a reluctance for people to share themselves out on social media and make a big fuss about themselves. It's not an easy thing. And I think the whole process is another thing. You touch on that, the fact that you go out your comfort zone, you do have to push yourself out there. And that process in itself is quite revealing too, because I think we all know we've got our own blocks. There's things that we don't like doing. And sometimes you need to go through those blocks. And by doing so, you find they're not really blocks there. So it's a good process on that. I think there's another aspect too, is you are putting yourself out there and saying, look, we do actually want some help here. You're welcome to get in touch. We're not all singing or dancing. We need some help, or we'd like to grow, or there's some opportunities to, scale up, as you said. So I think there's a humbleness about a crowdfunder. I think a sort of, invitation maybe to come on board too.
I think there's, and the only way you can actually learn to do things like this, Tim, is just go out and do it sometimes. So many companies will do a crowdfunder as their first experience of trying to raise funds, especially if it's a rewards-based crowdfunder, as all these companies are. And again, the only way to do that is just to throw yourself in and do it and see what you learn from that. Some of these companies also, they are actually doing bigger fundraising campaigns, but they're using this crowdfunder almost as the arrow point of that campaign, just like you say, to get the message out there that they are looking for help and they're looking for people to come in and help them grow their business.
And what would you suggest? I mean, we've got about a week or two left for quite a lot. A lot of these crowdfunders are running for a month. Some of them are good 2 or 3 weeks in. Some of them a bit more now. Some of them are what you call flexible funding, but some of them are fixed, don't they? So they have to get their goal. I know that somebody like Happy Carrot Skincare, they're looking to raise £1,500. Last time I looked, they're on about eight something, a good shove, and they're just, if they get over the line. So first of all, I'd like to ask you 2 bits of advice. One is, what would you advise the actual businesses to do? And then secondly, what would you advise perhaps people listening, the public? How could they help in this last crucial week or 10 days?
And this is really interesting because, we're doing this in partnership with Crowdfunder. So Crowdfunder are also giving training. They're there to answer emails and questions as well. And they've been really supportive of what we're doing. They've been a great organisation for this. And they show in their training that all the fundraising happens in the first week and the last week. So regardless of if you've got a 1-month campaign or a 2-month campaign or even a 3-month campaign, all the money is raised in the first week and the last week. And they've got all their graphs to back this up. So it can be disheartening when you get to that last week and you're only about 50% to your target, but you can get everything in that last week. And that's when you start pushing. And it's because people know that they're going to miss out. It's their last chance to do it. You asked about the public. How often do you get an email asking to help or asking, to back a crowdfunder, and you go and look at it and you go, yeah, I'm going to back that. And then you completely forget and go do something else. So a lot of the time, it's not until you're at that, right, you need to do this today or this just isn't going to happen. And I think that's where we're going to get when we get into the last week, that's the time to just be absolutely hammering your mailing list, trying to get in the news, getting on your social media and saying, look, if this doesn't happen in the next couple of days, it's not going to happen. So it's that real pressure, and I think that works out really well.
Brilliant, David. That's just a really quick little resume. Obviously, we packed a lot in there. We're definitely encouraging people to go and visit. I think it's, you can go to your page, your Vegan Business Tribe, to the crowdfunder area, and you'll see the 18 businesses. You can also go to the crowdfunder page. There is a crowdfunder page with them all there, so it's an easy find. But we're going to make it easy and easier. Not only have you got the website down there, crowdfunder.co.uk /startup scale up. But we are now going to go through all 18 of these businesses pretty rapidly. I'm going to let you lead, seeing as you've also done all the hard work to put the slides together, which is great of you. But it's also an indication of basically people, let's get behind these, let's get out there, let's do a bit of work, even 10 minutes sharing and tweeting, and support some of these people, and maybe even put in a 5 or 10 or 20 quid, you never know. Encourage friends, family, and let's press the button and off we go.
Fantastic. So you've actually just mentioned Happy Carrot Skincare, and Happy Carrot, we love them, and they started their funder a little bit earlier than everyone else, so they are literally down to their last 6 days, and they only need another £800. So this is someone we're really pushing to get over that line. So they won the best vegan skincare product at one of the VegFest UKs, I think, Tim, didn't they?
Oh, you got me there, but they've always been nominated.
Definitely. Absolutely.
They've always done well. I mean, a smashing little brand. We love Happy Carrot. Victoria's been on the show before.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great kit. And it's an example of basically a small independent vegan business that, doesn't need a lot. I think we mentioned it's only a £1,500 target. It's about over halfway, another few days to go. But it is one of those ones where it's a fixed. Victoria won't get a penny unless we hit the target. So come on, vegan community, let's get behind this one. Happy Carrot, let's get Happy Carrot over the line, if nothing else. But there's plenty others too, I think, coming up that we've got to look at.
There are, yes, yeah. So
come automatically, are they on a timer, or are we?
No, I've got a button, so I'll go through them, Tim. Okay. So the next one is Functon, and again, these are amazing because this is a vegan brand, and they only launched in 2020, but they're already shifting something like 1,000 units a month, and it looks like a company that's going to really blow up because it's a craft beer, it's an alcohol-free beer, it's adaptogenic, it's gluten-free, and it's made from functional mushrooms as well. Because medicinal mushrooms have been used for hundreds of thousands of years, so we're now putting them in beer as well. So this is an absolutely amazing company to get behind. Right, nice. Moving on to the next one, we've got Neozenti Encore, and this is Tanya Davis, and she's a chef that's worked for about 11 years, working around various restaurants in London, and she's moving to look to launch an online vegan restaurant, which will be running basically from her home for 2 days a week, but it's got this real community focus to it as well, and the food that she is making is phenomenal. So she's making something called the Neo Collie Burger, and that's cauliflower steaks with coconut. It's got peanut crumb, it's got smoked cream cheese and vegan cream cheese and caramel roasted pear slices, really Caribbean influences, lots of different things there. And she's only looking to raise about £600 just to raise equipment and storage boxes. So again, another one that we really hope will push over, but she's already well over 50% there. And then this might be a familiar face, Tim. Who are these people?
Yes, indeed. Force of Vegan Planet. So this is our own crowdfunder. We are, a year into this process now with our business without any revenue. We're looking at another year ahead of us before we can even start getting back to Olympia. It's a long way back, but we hope to be back by the end of 22. In the meantime, we've got these 2 magazines, Force of Vegan, which issue 1 is out now. Plant Planet, we start and work on. That's going to be out early May by the look of it. We're going to keep doing these. They're free, they're online. We'd love your support if you want to come on board. We're trying to raise 10 grand. We've got about £1,100 so far. So there's quite a way to go, but we've still got 2 weeks. So we'll be ranking up the social media and such like. But this is our future for now. I
just want to say to him as well, I was blown away by issue 1 of Force of Vegan, because when someone says, yes, I'm launching an online mic, you go, oh yeah, here comes another one. But this has just got so much integrity behind it. I'm about 2/3 through reading it at the moment, and I've just been blown away by what quality this is.
It's quality, isn't it? It's some fantastic contributors, and I'll be honest too, not a bad bit of design. So there's a bit of credit there. I like a little bit of design from a familiar. I was about to say a familiar face, not that familiar to us because we see
always behind the scenes, isn't it? Yeah, brilliant. So,
well done, Pete. Really sterling effort, first effort. Who's this?
So this is primary of education. Now, I don't know if you've met Laura Chepner. I had a chat with her, but she was a former primary school teacher, and she had this real conflict between what they were teaching and telling her to teach in schools and her vegan ethics. So she actually now teaches schools and teachers on inclusivity for vegans, and she's already launched an educator's guide for vegans, which talks about inclusive teaching. But she spent pretty much the last year helping parents completely free to petition schools to get a lot more vegan inclusivity in the classroom. So now she's looking to take all that knowledge and launch it as an online course that's CDP accredited. And so it means that teachers can study it and it will count towards their continual professional development credits. And it's just, this is a great example of a vegan business that isn't, selling food, or it's not selling a physical item. This is more of a sort of vegan businesses we're starting to see at these sorts of industries.
Brilliant. Yeah, fully support that one. I think only £3,000. I say only, it's a lot of money, but it's not an undoable amount. I think it's a doable amount. I think probably halfway there or so, is it?
I think she is, yeah, absolutely. And again, if we can
but it's a fabulous cause. Really good share too, an easy share that one around. It's like you say, it's about education, not products, which it's always nice to see.
Yeah, fantastic. Right, now onto My Co-Learn. So again, this is set up by Lucy and Alice Johnson, who you might know better as the Vegan Sisters. And so this is an online learning platform for vegan businesses, but it means that you can launch an online course, for instance, and you can earn money from selling that course, but you know that it's part of a vegan ecosystem. And they've got like a really strong activism links. They've had a number of vegan companies already launching courses through their platforms. And this one is really interesting because NatWest has actually got behind this one, and they've put £1,000 into the campaign as well, just because they're wanting to support these sort of companies too.
That's an interesting point, and I would highly advise people, if you're crowdfunding, we're going to be doing the same, have a little look at those, so what's it called, the alternative funding or the supporting matching funding. There's some matching funders out there, and that's definitely some work for us to do this coming week.
Absolutely. So moving on to the next one. So this is Heather Landex. Now, Heather's a really interesting person and a really, interesting vegan entrepreneur, because she actually started out in conservation, but she now works in food safety. So that's a very interesting journey that she's been on there. But she's putting out a new book, and this book is just advising restaurants and chains, and especially the large chains, if you think about the high street chains, on moving towards inclusive food. Because her argument is restaurants are just leaving money on the table when they exclude people who you could say are minority groups with their food. So not just vegan, but gluten-free, allergen, free as well. And we're starting to see more companies do things like this. So if you look at people like, Goo Puds, who have just launched their vegan puddings, they've made something which is gluten-free, allergen-free, and vegan. So it really is inclusive food. And so I think Heather really is on the sharp point of this new inclusivity revolution that we're going to start seeing in food.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's going to be the new default, isn't it? So well, Heather.
I think it is.
There you go. No, we love this one, actually. We've been promoting this one ourselves, partly because of this fabulously bright, colourful picture, which just sums up really what we're trying to do here, which is highlight and focus on lots of small, independent, kind of, cottage industries, if you like. And no more so than this one, which is just great. I've met the
Samantha, yes.
Yeah, it's great. It's a really nice school.
Yeah, so this is Vegan Handmade, and like you were saying, Sam, who runs this, she's just a force of nature with her positivity and her tenacity, and it's just everything that I love about vegan business owners. So yes, she's making amazing vegan knitwear, but it's not made out of acrylic, but a lot of knitwear is, because acrylic is the plastic. So she's using cotton, she uses recycled denim, it's all sustainable materials, it's big and chunky, it looks like traditional knitwear, but she's actually, and that's part of her doing this crowdfund as well, just with the feedback that she's got and talking to people, she's looking at moving this towards more of a community model, just to be able to give jobs to people in the northwest of England. So if you order one of these, it can be hand knitted on the day by somebody with their own cottage industry. So this is, for me, I absolutely love this company, and I love Samantha who runs it.
I love it. Thumbs up for there. Yeah, good luck, Sam. Get
fantastic.
That line. This one looks amazing too, David. You have collected some fabulous little vegan businesses on the road. I can see why you enjoy your work so much. I mean, to credit you, you always got lots of enthusiasm. As indeed your partner Lisa, full of enthusiasm, which is a really important commodity these days. And, you know, I can see why, because you work with so many great, positive people. It's infectious.
It is, and that's not something we've mentioned yet. But, you know, these are all the challenger brands of tomorrow. And yes, not every company will blow up and become a household name, but we need to be able to enable the grassroots vegan businesses just to get a hold and to get some support. And again, this is why I love something like this, like Wheat Meats. You know, it's run from a small vegan bakery in Worthington down in West Sussex, and they develop new vegan food products in the bakery. They are the home to the vegan Scotch egg. So, you know, they just do some amazing products. And what they're actually looking for is just some funding to develop their branding and have a website built, because amazing products, but yes, it does look a little bit homegrown at the moment. So, you know, if we can help them just get some funding, a couple of £1,000 just to get, you know, their branding in place, just to get a website in place, that makes all the difference to businesses of this size.
Well, it does, yeah. And there are, having said that, some cracking websites. I've been looking at a few recently. You can see there's been a bit of upgrading going on during the last year. Viva the Vegans looking at a very good website right now, I've got to say.
Absolutely.
Very impressed with Viva the Vegans' new website. It's looking like, my goodness, yeah. So that's probably about halfway through, I think. How else we got? We've got a few more really good. I like this one. I've been working a bit with this, the Tropical Duchess. Bit of a way to go, but a very interesting start.
It is, yeah. You know, and this is born from a lifestyle blog. You know, it's a share of Bristol, and it's another black-owned, female-owned, you know, vegan-owned British startup brand. And again, it's everything that we want to get behind, because it's not just launching a new product; it's also promoting body positivity and, you know, body diversity. And that's what we find in so many vegan brands. It's not just their vegan ethics; it's just ethics in general and compassion. And Tropical Duchess, it's just the perfect example of a vegan brand.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm absolutely behind that one, as indeed this one, which is just another great example of a beautiful, fresh idea, just on point, great timing.
Yeah.
Disrupt the dog food industry. Yeah, we do good. Good luck to you.
Exactly. And people don't realise, you know, people will go vegan, you know, and they're still feeding their animals meat-based. And meat-based plant food, I think it's responsible for about 25% of the environmental impact of meat production. You know, over half of dogs in the UK are now overweight. So it's not just about making a vegan alternative. It's actually freshly cooked and then frozen. You know, it's actually healthy dog food as well. So plant-based pet food, it is going to be a huge growth industry. We're seeing some of the big companies like Mars putting a lot of money into this at the moment. So, you know, we've got someone here who's doing it for all the right reasons. So Steve Hutchins, who runs this, again, 100% behind him.
Good luck, Steve. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to Earth Warriors. Now, Earth Warriors, they've already hit their targets. They're doing an amazing campaign at the moment, and they've now moved on to their stretch goals. And again, I think this shows the diversity of vegan businesses, because they're a Darlington health and refill shop. So they're cutting down on plastic. You go with your own containers, you refill your own containers. And all they were looking to do was raise money to install 20 gravity dispensers. But they've hit that goal, which is fantastic. And they're now moving on to their stretch goal, which is to make their shop accessible for wheelchair use as well. So again, brilliant business, and we want to get behind them as much as we can. Okay, Vegan Dunk. Now, what do I need to say about this? It's a vegan biscuit delivery service, and we all need that right now. And again, you know, this is another lockdown business, and we've seen so many people having to pivot and just do something innovative to keep going, you know, and to launch a new business. But these are vegan biscuits, and they're the crumbly vegan biscuits that you can dunk in your tea, but they're delivered in the post through your letterbox. And again, all sustainable packaging, a very sustainable company, and just what a great idea. We need more companies who are being innovative and doing things like this.
Yeah, brilliant. Nice one to see come out of lockdown, like you say. You know, a lot of us had to think on our feet, as they say, and sort of, you know, switch direction and try. It's not easy. It's not easy. You know, it's not easy to sort of reinvent yourself. So, again, just underlining how much support is welcome. You know, people really put themselves out here, and, you know, any support really goes a long way. So just bear that in mind if you're watching. You know, honestly, a little share or a like or a comment is a massive boost for people right now. A little goes a long way, as they say.
It does, yes. So moving on to vegan vouchers. Now, some of you might already be part of vegan vouchers. So this is the great idea that you actually carry a discount card that vegan businesses will give discounts for. And they've already got about 200 businesses who are offering discounts for people who get this card. And they're trying to push about 10,000 customers in about 3 years' time. So again, they're just looking to raise money to scale up, to do some more PR marketing about what they're doing. And they've moved online a lot this last year as well. So it's not just for physical businesses where you go show a card. You can go cardless. You can join a little bit cheaper if you go cardless and just get some amazing vegan discounts.
Brilliant.
Next one is Conscious Cow. So this is actually a vegan shop and a cafe down in Worthington, and they also do street food and outside catering. And this is probably what more people think a typical vegan business is. You know, they go out with a food van, they've got a shop and a cafe, but their crowdfunder, it's part of actually a much larger campaign that they're doing to buy extra space so they can grow their own food, they can run retreats and events, and all these are with a community theme. And again, that's coming back to this idea of a vegan business. It's not just always about the food, it's about what change can we make in the world. So they're looking to put on community swap shops, have a community lounge, have family workshops. And again, it just shows that veganism, it's just a result of compassion and caring. And I think these sorts of businesses and these kind of projects, they just prove that.
It's absolutely essential, actually, too, community-based projects, because, you know, with veganism and plant-based options going mainstream, community projects are really where the future lies, I think. You know, if we're going to really crack some of these problems and completely change systems and exploitation, oppression, you know, community projects are a really good solution. So there's a brilliant initiative. And this one, I would imagine, pretty much popular with most people. Yeah,
absolutely. No,
do you get rewards? Do you get rewards? Sent a dessert if you know, to get one of these. I'm like, oh, I
think you probably do, and that's something we've not really mentioned. All these companies have got amazing rewards for you're not just giving them money and that money disappears. You're getting rewards back for it as well. So again, this is another company that's really challenging the stereotypes of what vegan food isn't. Now, you know, you and me, Tim, we've been vegan for a while, so we've seen the whole breadth of what vegan food is. But if you're just on that plant-based journey and you haven't quite made that ethical connection yet, seeing the sort of food you can have that is plant-based isn't just vegan food, it's just amazing food. And again, this is someone who's producing inclusive food. So all the desserts they make, they're suitable for vegans, they're suitable for diabetics, they're suitable for celiacs because they're gluten-free as well. And it's just, again, moving towards that inclusivity that we started to say as a real theme.
Good kit. Delicious dessert.
Absolutely. Just one thing to add to this as well. Danny Zargel, who started this business, he's a chef down in London, and he was already supplying the high-end restaurants and hotels. But since lockdown, he's been doing his deliveries, his dessert deliveries, using an electric van as well. So again, that just ties into the whole ethics and the sustainability of the business. Okay, so this is the last one now. So moving on to Phyton. I know it looks like Python, but it's actually Phyton. Now, I know, Tim, that you've had a chat with Carl Fogg, haven't you, yourself in Phyton?
Yeah, Carl's got something in common with me, actually. He's about the same age. So
I thought you were going to say, because Carl was actually last year voted Peter's sexiest vegan over 50.
Yeah, I wasn't entered for that. I mean, obviously, if I'd been entered for that, then it would have been different discussion. But no, good luck to Carl. I've seen what he does. And what I like too is that he's got an animal sanctuary focus on this. So there's a real connection there. And I think, you know, you mentioned earlier about plant-based journey, David. You know, even though, I mean, like, you know, I'm coming around 40 years now vegan. I'm learning all the time. Every month, I learn a bit more about really what it means to be vegan. And making the connection with animal sanctuaries and the importance of supporting animal sanctuaries and the residents are basically the survivors of this hugely oppressive industry, effectively. And that's really important. And that's something that Carl's done there. And I suspect that, you know, Carl's like me, he's still learning on his vegan journey. And that would have been a really important step from there. You know, may have made that connection 30, 40 years ago. I don't know. For me, I've only made that connection recently, actually, really. Although it's been in front of me for all that time. But there's that importance of that cycle back to actually supporting animal sanctuaries. And whilst we've been talking about supporting the crowdfunders and supporting businesses, supporting animal sanctuaries is an ongoing, essential, fundamental part of veganism. And congratulations, really, to this company for doing that.
It is. This is one of the themes that we push as hard as we can at Vegan Business Tribe. You can either just set up a vegan business because you're vegan yourself and you want to make a living in the vegan industry, the plant-based industry, or you can set up a vegan business which is actually trying to move the course forwards and actually make a difference in the world and bring us to this vegan world all the much more quicker. So we do try and push our members as much as we can to take that second option. So it's great that you've set up a vegan business, but now how are you going to actually use that to make a difference in the world? And this is, just as you were saying, why I love Phyton, because it's not just another vegan protein company. They've only set up to raise funds for animal sanctuaries. 100% of all their profits when they launch will just go to funding animal sanctuaries. And you can do so much more good in the world if you're making sustainable money than if you're not, if you're scraping by each month. So yeah, absolutely love Phyton, and brilliant that he's the last of the companies that we're rounding up with here.
Well, David, that's a wonderful roundup. Thanks for that. We've kept to fairly short and sharp half hour there, which is brilliant. There's some brilliant companies there. Just to say again, we're going to run these, I think we mostly run into the end of March, but we are into the closing stages. So please do share, do give him a shout, and please do pledge. Pledging is all important. But the added exposure, the process, the contacts you make, and what you've achieved too with Vegan Business Tribe is to make it a shared experience. It's supportive, and it feels like a bit of a club. And it's not a private club, it's just a club of people genuinely coming together, sharing ideas and helping each other. And that's again really important. We're in an era where we're seeing, Kit Kats with vegan trademarks on them, and we know these products are involving child slave labour. There's nothing like a homegrown vegan business that you can talk to the people, and the people are listening, learning, sharing, growing, because at heart they've got ethics at their heart. And it's a misused word, but I think we can truthfully say that when you look at all of these crowdfunders, all 8 of them, and yourselves, there's no shortage of ethics there, and in a time when the vegan communities are so quick to share the latest multinational plant-based product, wouldn't it just be great to see vegan communities sharing and getting really excited about all of these and the many more small vegan businesses? So on that note, well done. Congratulations too for all the support you've given.
That's brilliant. Just to bookend what you're saying there, 100% agree. And the companies we've seen today, they're all ethical companies, and that's making a huge difference. If you're supporting these companies, you know where that money's going. And just to give it one final plug, if you want to see all these businesses again, just go to veganbusinesstribe.com and look for our crowdfunding page, and then you'll see all these businesses. You can click through to their pages, and that's where you can find them all in one place as well.
That's right. So Vegan Business Tribe, it's an easy one to go to. We might even get your website up on the little thing. There it is. Oh, telepathic. Just by magic, and there it appears. But no, honestly, it's a great initiative. And I should imagine it's one that you may well run again. I mean, this is another thing to remember with Crowdfunder, is that, they're ongoing. And some people have run a few, indeed, So certainly I've learned, it's the second time I've been involved with the crowdfunder. I've certainly learned a lot. But I am very grateful for the support you've given, and it's your idea and your hard work, you and Lisa together with Vegan Business Tribe. But on behalf of all of the people who've been part of this, there's very much a thanks to you both for really going the extra mile too. You really have. You haven't just put it together and held it together, but you've really pushed it out too. And of course, this is another little extension of that. So thank you, David. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, all the businesses involved. Hopefully you'll all be out there now doing a mass share. Let's try and get some of these ones over the line. But it's great to see flourishing, positive, ethical growth going on, and even if not all of us come through with this, what we might see as a success, I think the taking part at this day and age is a real part. So it's half the way there to just be taking part. So
brilliant. Thank you, Tim, so much.